floor. Let your eyes close. Maybe your arms or hands drop into your lap. Feeling the quality of your own breathing. Taking one more breath in. And full exhale. We have company. My cat Cha-Cha will be joining us for part of our webinar. Welcome, kitty. So what did you notice? That first moment of checking in, what did you notice in your physical body? The key things that I most hear from clients of mine is generally my neck and shoulders or my jaw, or as we bring awareness to our breathing, it often slows down, smooths out, becomes more steady, right? So the whole shebang for today's webinar and the entire Healthy Body Holiday online program, which is coming in about 10 days or a week, super excited to open enrollment for that. The whole point is awareness. If we're aware of how we feel currently, then we can make choices about what we want or how we would like to feel and learn skills, tools, ways to implement new things in our lives so that we do feel that better experience of feeling vitally healthy, energized, okay? So that initial awareness, just tuck that away. We'll do a little movement later on. And I want you to be able to compare how you feel when we first started and check in later. So what's included in today's webinar, we're going to talk through an imagery experience of the stressed hot mess holiday, and then also the healthy body holiday experience that you can have instead. We're going to cover our top 4 strategies to help you prepare for a healthy season, some implementation strategies and taking action. We'll do some Q&A and continue on from there, see where we go after that. So first, imagery, taking a moment, and I want you to count. So as you imagine with me as I read through this description, I want you to count how many of these things identify really clearly for you or resonate clearly, like, oh man, you are speaking my language. That's totally me. That was me last year at the holidays completely, okay? So take a count for yourself. Imagine with me. You've rushed around the house, slapped on some lipstick, even though the bags under your eyes are a dead giveaway to how you really feel, and you rush to yet another holiday party or social engagement. You come home exhausted and cranky at your partner, your family, and you go to bed upset or disappointed with yourself. You feel bloated, sluggish, and frumpy in your clothes, and you're so darn tired all the time. You haven't worked out in days. Wait, has it been weeks? Your shoulders ache, you have a persistent headache, and your bowels are anything but regular. Here you are again, overwhelmed. Your body and health needs have fallen to last place on your list. But you have to keep pushing because your family needs you, your job needs you, your social calendar's full, you have more gifts to buy, and you do your best to smile through it all. Okay, slightly depressing. Take a big breath in, arms up. Shake the arms on the way down. One more time. Big breath in, reaching up. Shake it out, let it go. Drop the shoulders. Good. Make a little note for yourself with how many of those things resonated for you or you've experienced those. And I'm writing that description because I think we've all been there, right? Myself included. We've all had these swings of massive social engagement and energy out, pouring ourselves into everyone else's needs, and then realizing, oh man, I need some self-care. So we've all been there. Time for our healthy body holiday description instead. So again, take a moment, imagine now with me this very different scenario. And as I'm reading through, maybe you tick mark or tally how many of these things you connect with or resonate with, and how many of these things you want for this year. So imagine with me, you're welcome to close your eyes. You say yes to parties and social gatherings that light you up inside, and you anticipate them joyfully. You've gotten very good at declining when your calendar is full or your energy simply doesn't feel in it. I have another commitment, you say clearly. Saying no can feel so good. Getting your butt moving, dancing, working out, or onto your yoga mat is a natural part of your day-to-day routine, and your body loves movement, especially during a busy season like the holidays. Your posture feels tall, upright, easeful. Entering a party, you're aware of your breathing, and you feel genuinely present with the people around you, sharing the holiday experience with them. When you see a table full of food, you confidently survey the options, select what you want, and enjoy every last bite. Indulging is allowed, pleasure is welcome, and you feel content and full. You trust your body to tell you when enough is enough, and you've gotten more and more skilled at listening to her. You love the holidays and soak up all the joy, peace, love, and gratitude you can. And you're able to give and receive with ease. Sounds pretty great, right? Yes. So 2 big breaths. Here we go. Inhale, arms up. Palms together. Draw that intention down with your hands in front of your heart. One more time. Scooping a big breath in. Gather, collect it, draw it into the heart space. Let's take 3 breaths together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, big sigh. Again, inhale through the nose. Full exhale. Last time. In through the nose. Full exhale. Good. Opening the eyes and let your hands drop into your lap. Good. So as I read through those descriptions, I imagine you probably had a certain feeling in your body, maybe a certain change in your mood, your emotions, as I read through that imagery, right? The point there is that our minds are powerful. And I'm not just talking woo-woo, law of attraction, the magic of it, although there's plenty of magic during the holiday season and all year if we look for it, right? I'm talking concrete neuroscience, behavioral psychology, you know, these fields that really have shown us in these last several years that what we think about all the time, the power of our mind, it's going to help create our reality, because our reality is what we perceive, right? It's our perception of the world. It's our perception of time. It's our perception of everything around us, our interactions, our own body. So as we continue on, we're going to get clearer. Hopefully you're getting clearer and clearer about what you want for this holiday season. So here we go with our top 4 strategies to help you prepare for a healthy body holiday. Tip number 1, set your intention. So we've already read through my description, or the imagery that I felt describes the healthy body holiday experience I wanted. Take a moment for yourself with your pen, with your paper, or daydreaming for a few seconds, and come up with what is at the root of what I want. If you're familiar with Danielle Laporte's work, the desire map, core desired feelings, there are all these external things that we think that we want and that have some value for us. Like, I want to work out 3 times a week, or I want to feel good in that dress that I bought for that party, or I want to make sure I don't gain weight this year. I want to actually maintain my health. So there are lots of measurements or ways of measuring our health and fitness. Go deeper inside to what is really driving you. And on that spectrum of motivation, or spectrum of what is driving me to move towards this or move away from this, We have pain on one side, pleasure on the other, right? We can move away from that first description of the stressed hot mess holiday, or we can be moving towards our clearer, truer vision of what we want, moving towards the pleasure and satisfaction on that end of the spectrum. Of course, it's very fluid. Any given day and every moment to moment, we're on that spectrum, right? Deciding, okay, I'm moving away from this. I'm going to choose that instead. Okay, I want this, but I'm going to stop now. Thank you. I've had enough. Ooh, that was so good. I don't want to go back on the other end of the spectrum. So we're continually navigating that whole process of what's our drive and motivation. So for some of us, it might be clarity. For some of us, it might be a sense of peace. Some of us, it's energy or vitality. You want to feel like you have the zip and vigor and vitality to be able to sustain yourself through the holiday season and really get as much out of it as you can. Some of you are ambitious that way, like me. So come up with a word or a few words that describe how you feel. Write them down if you haven't already. Good. And again, when setting intentions, we can start with what we're moving away from, but then we also have to decide, or we get to decide. Reframe that for myself there. We get to decide, what am I moving towards? There is some research as well that moving away from the pain point is only so effective. It can be effective, especially to get us started. You know, something reaches critical mass and it's the last straw, and we say, okay, I have to do something different, right? We've all been there as well. But the greater carrot at the end of the spectrum, there's research that moving towards what we desire is more effective, more sustainable for long-term behavior change. So we know what we don't want, we know what we do want, and we're going to spend more of our energy and actions, day-to-day actions this holiday season, moving towards the experience we want. Agreed? Excellent. Agreed. So you've got your intention in writing. Now we have step number 2, setting boundaries. This one it's been on my radar for years personally. It comes up often with clients that I work with. And it seems like there's been a kind of a resurgence of it on Facebook in some of the social circles that I'm in as well. Talking about boundaries this time of year is a hot trend. But boundaries, like anything else, need to be deeply aware and internal or embodied. The word that I often use is embodied. So it's not just something we have to do, or the boundary is something else on our to-do list that we have to remember, and it adds stress. The whole idea with boundaries in Healthy Body Holiday program is setting yourself up for success. Again, focusing on what you do desire most. And those boundaries are, it's like taking yourself to church, you know, it's a spiritual experience to be able to say, yes, please, no, thank you. Those fluidity moments of immediately knowing what your decision is comes from having a healthy container, a sacred container of boundaries. So take a moment. You can sit and meditate with this. You can free write if you have your pen and paper. Take a moment, and I want you to remember the places, the people, the environments, the certain situations that in the past really triggered you. They triggered your stress response. They triggered old habits, old reactivity. They make you feel ill, like there's a knot in your stomach or something. So take a moment, and for a brief moment, identify very, very clearly, as objectively as you can. You don't have to delve into the experience that happens that was not pleasant. I want you to identify instead clearly, objectively, people, places, scenarios, situations that have triggered you in the past. Take a moment, jot them down, identify them clearly. Good. Of course, you can continue on with this after the webinar. Could probably work with this for a good chunk of time. and then do a meditation and let it all go, right? So you've identified a few things, and if it's possible, I want you to start to think of these situations, people, places in a neutral sense. No longer looking at what they did, what that situation created for you, the external kind of victim mentality of something outside of me made me feel that way. Instead, you've identified them clearly, objectively. Take a moment and reframe how you can perceive that situation. It might be something like, I realize that I often overcommit. It leaves me feeling resentful and tired. I wonder what would happen this year if I said no to a few things. Another example, I realize that I get frustrated at Aunt so-and-so or my mom or my sibling when we get together at the holidays. And I think that stems from my own belief of being, the little sister who was never listened to, or whatever it might be. So not to psychoanalyze too much, but take a moment and shift it to an I statement. Own it, first person language. What's your perception? What's my perception of this person, place, environment, etc. that has triggered me in the past? And then frame it with a question. How might I respond more skillfully when I see my in-laws this year? How might I show up to a social gathering, a party, and enjoy myself more? What would allow me to do that? What would allow me to be myself, to be confident, comfortable in that environment this time? So start brainstorming. I know it's a little bit like trying to get the wheels turning after they haven't turned for a while, right? Because we can get really focused or attached to the pattern that has happened in the past, right? We're kind of expecting that outcome. So lubricate those little wheels, a little brainstorm, get them turning, and start thinking about, what's my role in this? What's my power in this? And how can I respond the way I want to respond? What can I do or give to myself to allow myself to show up more confidently, to enjoy myself more deeply, to share the experience with these people that I love in a more equanimity, in a more peaceful way, right? How can I bring more peace to that environment? Good. On the flip side with that, we've talked about reframing our own perceptions. Of course, also part of healthy boundaries is simply saying no. So as you brainstorm with these people, places, environments, etc., that trigger you, you can reframe your perception, create new space and solutions around it, different ways of responding, new things to try. You can also just say no. There was something maybe 2 weeks ago on Facebook that I saw where it said, I have to decline for secret reasons. I don't remember what the post was, but I absolutely loved that. The bit of allure and mystery that, I can't tell you why I'm not able to attend your party. Thank you so much. I have to decline for secret reasons. Really, really, it's up to us, right? It's up to us where our time and energy goes. And if there's yet another invitation in the mail, and you feel in your body, there's a really clear gut instinct, literal body-based feeling that says, decline. I would prefer not to go to that party. It's nothing personal. I don't need to explain myself. Everything about me when I read that invitation is just saying, no, thank you. Send a nice note, thank them for the invitation, let it go. One of my other great strategies that has worked well for me is to simply say, I have another engagement, or I have another appointment at that time. Apologies that I won't be able to make it. I hope you have a wonderful time. So whether I actually have another engagement, as in a client appointment or a family responsibility or whatever it might be, or if it's just my self-care, because that is a priority for me. Hopefully it's a growing priority for each of you, that in order to say no to something, we don't need a reason. We can use the allure of, I can't attend for secret reasons, or something as simple as, no, thank you, I won't be able to make it. And if they ask why, you can simply say, I prefer not to go, and I'm happy with that decision. I'm really grateful for your invitation. My needs are asking me to say no to this engagement. I hope you understand. That could be a response. And as you practice it, it will come out clearer and clearer. So onward with the next tip. Take a breath in. Let yourself have a big sigh or exhale. This one we'll do with a little bit of experiential learning. So find your feet on the floor again. If you are able to lie down, that's great, or sitting comfortably, sitting tall in your chair. And take a moment to close your eyes. Come back to the awareness or feeling of your breathing. Good. Taking the palms of your hands, place them over the heart space or on the chest, one hand on top of the other. And we're going to imagine or see if we can feel in our body that our awareness, our focus is going rather than forward towards the screen. You're watching and paying attention to me. Excuse me. Take a moment and see if you can move your awareness back. Bring your concentration back to yourself, your own body, into the body. And then moving your focus or concentration more diffuse, let it melt and flow downward and inward. So we're gently releasing the focus on external cues, external stimuli. Of course, my voice is guiding you. So you're letting your mind relax, you're softening the forehead, withdrawing from the visual sense by closing the eyes, and you're moving your awareness down, in, and back. Take a few breaths as you do that. Imagine like if you could actually see your concentration, the point of concentration. Let it melt and flow through the body, downward and inward. Some of us might feel a heaviness or a real groundedness through the hips, the sitting bones. A gentle deepening of our breath. Maybe it feels like we're sitting taller. More comfort through the neck and shoulders as we come to our seat rather than perhaps where we were perched forward in order to see and listen and take this webinar in. Steady, secure foundation. Senses moving inward calmly. Take one more breath. With the exhale, let the arms rest, palms drop into your lap. And then letting your eyes blink open. Good. Thank you. If you're just joining us, welcome. So that is tip number 3. And in the Healthy Body Holiday Guide, it simply says, withdraw from it all. When we were talking about boundaries, we talked about our ability to own our perception, to shift our perception and response to those triggers that we've identified. We also talked about setting healthy boundaries, permission to say no, permission to decline for secret reasons. So tip number 3, withdraw from it all on a more embodied level. So boundaries are, to me, very much kind of in the world interactions with others. And withdrawing from it all from a yoga perspective or from yoga philosophy, there's a word called pratyahara. Pratyahara, Pratyahara, pratyahara. And Pratyahara in some translations is withdrawal of the senses. In other translations or commentary that I've read, it's about heightening the senses by going within. So regardless of the holiday season, if you live in any industrialized, westernized civilization, which most of you probably do, watching this webinar, maybe having internet access and the like, if we live in that kind of world, we are continually bombarded by information, stimulus, sounds, smells, lights, camera, action, you know, lots and lots of outside stimulation or external information coming in. We're always being bombarded that way. So regardless of the holidays, on a year-round basis, Pratyahara is a very, very useful practice. Some people will meditate and do seated meditation practice. Some people will go to a yoga class, and the Pratyahara part of class, of course, is Shavasana. So if you're going to a yoga studio that, you know, gives you 58 minutes of sweaty, hot movement with mirrors and heat and music and all of that, and then a 90-second Shavasana, consider what that is creating or contributing to your overall well-being. The movement aspect is amazing. I love moving and sweating and working my body physically, and we'll get to that in tip 4. Yet in our day-to-day lives, we have enough stimulus. We have enough pushing, enough overload going on. So this practice of being quiet, going within, come back to yourself, literally bringing your senses into the body, is so healthy for our nervous system. So brief lesson on the nervous system. We have our autonomic nervous system. The stress response is our sympathetic arousal state or stress response, sympathetic state. The other mode or the other function in that autonomic nervous system is the parasympathetic state or the relaxation response, the calming aspect. So we can stimulate, we can calm, we need both, right? In order to function, to get to that meeting on time, to show up and really like nail a presentation, we need to be on, you know, a little bit like I am right now. Yet I can also drop into that parasympathetic space where even though I'm on, stimulated, presenting, I can also be grounded, clear, and calm. And it's through that Pratyahara practice that we can apply that ability into more and more challenging scenarios and situations, right? If we can take 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 20 minutes every day to practice Pratyahara, to lie down and rest, to close the eyes, to take a break from the stimulus. If we can do that in the quiet, comfortable, safe space of our own home, 3 or 5 or 20 minutes every day, we can more reliably then feel the sense of calm and peace and grounding when we meet our in-laws again, or when, I love my in-laws. Kathy, if you're on, I love you. Or when we're on the subway in the city, or if we have an accident on the freeway traveling home for the holidays, you know, whatever the case might be, we're more able then to pause, come back to our own awareness, our own embodiment, and see more options. That's what I see in myself, is the more that I practice Pratyahara, going within, meditation, Shavasana, the more creativity and space is opened up in my mind when a situation shows up that might challenge me. I can see more ways of responding. So that's tip number 3, withdraw from it all, or Pratyahara. Again, taking a conscious moment of rest. And in order to implement that, take a moment for yourself. Maybe you grab your pen and paper. Maybe you plug it into your calendar on your phone now or at the end of the webinar, and you type in or you write a very clear intention for your daily Pratyahara practice. It could be 5 minutes in bed after your alarm, before you let your feet hit the ground and get out of bed and start your day. Alarm goes off. During that 8-minute snooze or 5-minute snooze, you're actually focused on your body and your breath quietly. Could be in the middle of your workday. I have clients that implement it this way. They'll take a walk outside on their lunch break for 10, 15 minutes, and then take, say, 3 breaths before they open up their email or start work again at their computer. So it could be as simple as, I'm going to take 5 breaths before every meal, or as extensive as 10, 20, 30 minutes of meditation and more formal practice. Either way, the focus is here, inside, on yourself, calm, quiet breathing, pratyahara, moving within. So step number 4, are you ready? Engage with movement. And this one is what most of you know me for. I spent like a decade in the fitness industry. I've been teaching yoga since 2007, practicing much longer than that. I have a dance degree. I ran an ultra marathon last September, 52.1 miles. I mean, I love rock climbing. You guys know, those of you that know me really know that movement is a huge part of my life. And that is at the core of the Healthy Body Holiday program. We'll get to the program later. But step 4, starting now, before the holiday stress is in full swing, before Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, etc., before New Year's resolutions, right? You don't have to wait till January 1 to get healthy. You don't have to wait. You can start now. So step number 4, engaging with movement. My belief, my experience personally, my experience with clients, teaching over these past 15 years is that when we move our bodies, we tap into something so incredible and we tap into that sense of confidence, that sense of grounding, that sense of, I have a right to be here. I'm worth the time and energy that I'm giving myself right now to do a workout, to take a walk, to moisturize and, you know, oil my feet at the end of the night before I go to bed. You know, there are lots of ways to express embodied love or self-care, but conscious movement is such a key part. One distinction that I want to make is awareness, right? So if you like to go to the gym and you're on the treadmill and you're reading your favorite book or watching your favorite TV show on the screen or whatever, you know, there's some level of benefit there. Don't get me wrong. You're moving your body, you're there. Yet, if you can actually take that awareness from that outside stimulus stuff, more stuff going into our brains, right? If we can actually harness that power of our attention, our minds, and be present with our body when we're moving, the benefits are exponentially increased. And I've, again, witnessed that in myself. Many, many clients have experienced that with me. And in all of my studies, that's the case as well. You know, calisthenics is here, yoga is, in some studies, higher benefit. And why is that? Our awareness is with our breath and body while we move versus looking in the mirror or singing along to the favorite song or ruminating about XYZ while we're doing our practice, right? So mind is powerful. Your mind is needed to heighten the experience and the results and the benefits and the feel-good chemicals and all of that with your movement practice. So you might like to run, you might like to yoga, you might want to turn some music on and dance every day. You might want to take a walk with your family after dinner each evening. There are lots of ways to implement this. Bottom line, implement it, right? So this webinar, it's not just theory and feel good and you're listening and then after the hour you go back to whatever else is next on your calendar. My intent today is to inspire you to implement these tips and tools. So again, creating a habit of moving now rather than waiting until the holidays are in full swing and our time is a little squeezed, our perception of time gets a little tighter or squeezed for some of us, full-on days, lots of stuff going on. Before that happens, we get to establish healthy habits. Take a moment with your notes, jot down an idea or 3 ideas of how am I going to engage with movement? How am I going to practice movement with the power of my mind? Choose an activity that you enjoy, that you can do safely, that you maybe have some experience with, something that's easy to implement. Or if you like the aspect of novelty, maybe you decide to try a new teacher or go to a new class or join the Healthy Body Holiday program and practice with me through the video resources. So again, there are lots and lots of ways to implement it. Write down, this is an idea or an intention of how I'm going to practice more movement daily. Okay, jot it down. Good. Excellent. Setting your pen aside. Good. Taking a big old breath. Good. The last detail about tip number 4, engaging with movement. Even though I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a registered dietitian, although I've studied nutrition a number of years and practice it myself, plant-based nutrition, if you must ask. So even though this isn't a nutrition program, it's more of a movement-focused, embodiment, cultivating kind of program, presence with ourselves and our body with movement. Nutrition is a huge concern. So I mentioned that several people this past week emailed or mentioned to me during sessions, you know, there's food everywhere. How do I manage that? Coming back to tip 4, engage with movement. When we've worked out, we not only have the objective balance of calories in, calories out, right? The calorie equation of weight maintenance. You know, if we have to look at it very logically, analytically for a moment, objectively, we can play the numbers game. How much am I consuming? How much am I burning or using through day-to-day activity, life, workouts, etc.? And am I in balance with that equation in order to maintain my weight? So that's a valid perspective. There's plenty of science on it, and it is useful to have an idea of how many calories we're consuming or what volume of food, what types of food we can take in that allow us to be satisfied, full, content, get the nutrients we need, and maintain our weight. On a more kind of subjective level, soulful level, intention level, I believe and have experienced that when we're in our bodies more often, moving, we have that sense of clear perception. So if it's like the classic phrases or you know, anecdotes about, oh, I was mindless, oh, I was absent-minded, or oh, I lost my head again. We have all these sayings about when we're not paying attention. And when we go into a party and, you know, maybe we're unaware and we're kind of in like tunnel vision and we end up having more cocktails than we probably wanted because we weren't aware of what we were doing in that moment. It was a reaction. It was a coping mechanism. Okay, we've maybe all been there. Another scenario is if you're looking at the buffet and the food options and you're in your head ruminating about family stuff or something that someone said or whatever it might be, it's going to be easier, possibly, when we're mindless, absent-minded, not being mindful, to take a lot more food than what we want, to take food that we're not really even going to be satisfied by, rather than really choosing our favorites and enjoying every last bite and choosing a more nourishing meal for ourselves. So again, lots of things can happen when we're unaware, when we're mindless, absent-minded. I lost my head again, you know, I lost it. We hear those sayings all the time. So with movement practice, consistent movement practice, we are training ourselves to be here now. We're training our attention to work with us or work for us, to serve us well. One last example is the feeling in your body. So let's say that we're finishing a meal And we have this sense of fullness. We've allowed ourselves time to take in that nourishing meal and maybe a cocktail. We really smelled, tasted, felt the dessert in our mouth as we were eating it. Our senses were really involved, fully aware. And we can sense at the end of that meal when we're full, when we're content. Our body naturally has those mechanisms in place. If we learn how to use them, work with them, listen to them, all the more effective, right? Our body's actually trying to let us know, more please, no thank you please, I'm happy, I'm content, thank you, you know? So again, that movement practice, it's harnessing the power of your brain, your mind, to be here now in your body so that you can understand the signals from your body. Oh, something hurts. What can I do about it? Yes, I'll do this Franklin method technique I learned from Sherry. Great. That's different. It's gone. I feel better, etc. So plenty of examples. Okay. So it sounds like a pretty successful way to live. Yeah. We have clear intentions. We have clear, healthy boundaries. We practice pratyahara, going within, quietness, rest, peacefulness, and we practice movement, activity, engaging with life, and boosting our mood and metabolism in the meantime. Take a moment, jot down any other notes that you want from our top 4 tips. I'll say them one more time. So tip number 1, set your intention. Tip number 2, set boundaries, healthy boundaries. Tip number 3, withdraw from it all, pratyahara. And tip number 4, engage with movement. Good. So taking a moment to check in with our neck and shoulders. So set aside your pen. We're going to take a brief movement break before we continue on. Set aside your pen. And take a moment, actually notice, okay, how are my neck and shoulders in this instant? Good. Okay, so hands up. Bringing hands together, give them a little warmth. We're going to bring the hands to the back of our neck. Sitting up tall on the sit bones if you're seated. You can stand if you prefer. We're going to nod the head forward, squeeze the back of the neck, and then relax the squeeze of your hand. Rest back into your hands like a nice firm pillow. Good, here we go. Squeezing a sponge. Imagine your neck like a big, soft, squishy sea sponge. You're wringing it out gently, and then relax that squeeze, rest back. Your neck is widening, softening, filling back up like that sponge that you're no longer squeezing. Good, 2 more. Squeeze and nod. Breathe and rest back. Squeeze and nod. Resting back. This time as we squeeze and nod, change the hand you're squeezing with. Little equal opportunity squeezer, getting both sides of the neck with the strength of the other hand. Good. Maybe imagine melting the neck muscles as you rest back. The water from the sponge is flowing down your back to your hips. Last time. Good. Coming to neutral neck and spine. Calm, open eyes. Give your neck a gentle lengthening upward. So I'm taking the heel of my hand behind my ear. One more time. Coming up. And then fingertips along the sides of your neck. Right behind the ear, we have this bump on our skull. It's called the mastoid process. So behind the ear, find your bump. Draw down from the bump. And if you look up slightly, you'll feel a great big muscle in front of your fingertips. Once you find that place, relax back to neutral, calm shoulders. Fingertips are going to sink in from there. Imagine that you're touching, you're not actually touching, but imagine you can touch the sides of your neck, the sides of your cervical vertebrae. And on inhalation, we're going to gently nudge the fingertips up. Exhale, slide fingertips down. Imagine melting the sides of the neck. Fingertips up, take a breath in. Exhale, melt the ribs, melt the neck. Just twice more. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, fingertips melt. Last time, extra credit. Here we go. Fingertips up. Little nod, yes. And then fingertips down, melting, sliding. Good. Give your whole neck a brush down to the sternum. And notice any change. So we checked in earlier, how did the neck and shoulders feel? Notice now if you feel different. Good. Take about 5-10 seconds, actually upload, like we update our phones as often as we can. Update this feeling into your brain. Describe it to yourself vividly. My shoulders feel dropped. My jaw feels more relaxed. My neck feels longer, or I feel taller. I feel more present in my body. I feel more focused or clear. 2 more breaths. Take it in. One more time. Let yourself fully exhale. Good. And if the eyes were closed, letting them blink open. Good. So we mentioned the few questions at the top of the hour that I've received from clients and webinar attendees through email. The first one being, how do I manage stress better? Are there simple 5 to 10 minute things I can do to drop the stress, feel better, be able to respond more skillfully, more clearly, etc.? Okay, so bottom line, how do I manage stress, and what can I do in a quick 5 to 10 minutes? The first solution is what we just did. So Franklin method technique for the shoulders and neck, squeezing, sponging. So you're using touch, movement, focused awareness, imagery, breath, all together, harnessing the power of you in order to change how you feel. There are a wealth of other resources in the Healthy Body Holiday program, and I loved that she had this question. This is from a gal in Wisconsin that I work with, and I love how she phrased it as, what can I do in 5 to 10 minutes? So part of the Healthy Body Holiday online program is that you will receive 3 self-care quickie videos. And it's exactly that. What can I do to improve my posture before I enter this party or go back to my desk at work? Quick 10, 12-minute practice, Franklin method practice. You'll also get oiled foot massage video, and it's not just rubbing oils on your foot. There's some specific awareness with the foot that allows you to feel really grounded and kind of unwound on a physical level, and for me also on kind of a soulful, mental, emotional level. When I do my foot massage, feels so good. And last but not least, you'll get a stress energy shakeout video, quick 10-minute practice that's great to do before you have a meltdown. You know, if you've got anxiety and energy just brewing and circling and rising, right? Feeling ungrounded, unsettled, I don't know what to do, I'm just overwhelmed. As a way to ground your energetic self through your physical self, stress energy shakeout. So you'll get those 3 self-care quickie videos with the full online program, as well as an embodied peace practice, embodied joy practice, and a breath and imagery practice. So you get 6 videos, as well as lots and lots of other audios, PDFs, other resources, and email support through the month of December. Enrollment opens November 22nd. Our next question that we had is, there's so much food at work and parties, etc. And we've talked probably enough about that one earlier on when we were talking about boundaries. We were talking about pratyahara and our ability to sense, feel in real time, what is my body asking for? What does my body need in this moment? And how that can really help us clearly make decisions about whether to have another cookie or not. You know, is that going to put me over the edge where then I feel sick? My body's telling me, yeah, I don't need that other one. I've enjoyed the one that I had. Thank you, you know, etc. The other piece around that is that in the Healthy Body Holiday Guide, which you can get at the bottom of the lead page, if you're watching this as the embedded Google Hangout, in the lead page link I sent out via email, you can get the Healthy Body Holiday Guide. And there's a whole page of implementation strategies in the guide. You'll also get that email support with the program when you enroll. Our last question, how to get motivated to work out and stay active. How do I get motivated? How do I motivate myself? This is one of the key areas of interest of mine and key lessons, I feel like, that we're all working on all the time. You know, am I going to decide this, that, or the other thing for myself this morning? Am I going to do this, that, or the other thing, or any number of scenarios this weekend, or when I get home from work? Or, you know, we're always in charge. We're always in charge of what we do, how we do it, how much we enjoy it, etc. Okay, so that first step is realizing or taking back the idea, the feeling of, yeah, I'm in charge and I can decide. One of my clients this summer had this realization. She was in my 4-month immersion program, working one-on-one every week. Amazing. I loved working with her in that capacity, and we still get to hang out once a month with a session. Anyway, she was talking with herself, dialoguing with herself about, you know, if it's so easy to not practice, if it's so easy to not work out, if it's so easy to not eat well, or to, you know, it's easier to choose the convenience food or whatever it might be. If it's so easy to choose not to, what if it could be that easy to choose to do those things for myself? What if I just let go of this idea that it has to be hard, or that I can't do it, or that I've failed in the past, or that I always struggle to get my practice in, or I've never been able to meditate every day, right? We're spending our time and energy and precious brain power on the I can't scenario. So taking back that empowered decision making that we each have, and shifting our perception that, wow, this is easy. It's just as easy for me to stay on the couch as it is to get up and go take a 10-minute walk. It's just as easy for me to go in the fridge and throw together a salad as it is to grab fast food as I drop my kids off, or whatever, you know. So reframing it that it can be easy, it can be enjoyable, and it's not something that we have to do. I've reframed this myself in this webinar like twice this morning. It's not something we have to do, it's something we get to do. I get to do yoga this morning. I get to do my meditation practice and my chanting this morning, which I did sitting in my bedroom, cross-legged on my mattress with cha-cha on my lap, right? So reframing it, I have the power, I'm in charge. It can be easy and enjoyable, and I get to take great care of myself this holiday season. The quote that I want to share around that question, I shared it probably in the last month or so on Facebook, but I'll share it here again. It's by Tony Robbins, pretty out of this world leadership and business coach. I'm thinking that many of you are aware of his work. Pretty outrageous energy and enthusiasm. And his quote, he says, "A real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided." So again, this webinar is meant not just to be a bunch of ideas, tips, tools. It's meant to be real-time actions, changing how we care for ourselves every day, changing our actions to better reflect our values and our priorities, right? We all want to feel good. We all desire to feel confident, healthy, energized, joyful, peaceful, etc. all year round, especially during the holidays. And we get to decide how we make that happen. And for those of you, again, that are possibly wanting support, that's why Healthy Body Holiday, the online program, was created. So if you have any other questions, again, feel free to message me. I'm going to check in with messages. Good. And okay, good. So again, feel free to message me if you do have another Q&A. We've got another maybe 5 to 10 minutes for this webinar. And while I have you, again, at the bottom of this page, for those of you wanting support, first step, enter your email to receive your full Healthy Body Holiday Guide, as well as a 5-day email support from me to help you take action, help you implement these first 4 steps. So again, move, withdraw, set boundaries, set intentions. Taking it from theory and learning, writing, into daily action. Make sure you sign up to get the guide. You'll get more implementation strategies and tips, and you'll get the 5 days of email support from me. Also, mark your calendars. Again, November 22nd, it's a Sunday. That is when early bird enrollment opens for the Healthy Body Holiday program. Again, you have 6 videos, a wealth of other resources and bonuses and all kinds of great stuff that you'll see when next week, early to mid next week, when my new website goes live. I'm very excited about that. You'll be able to see the full program, all the goodies, all the bonuses that you're going to get when you enroll for Healthy Body Holiday. The kind of the nugget that I'm most excited about that, besides of course all the cool videos that I'm making for you, is that when we have open enrollment November 22nd through November 30th, so enrollment closes Cyber Monday, program starts December 1, you're actually going to get support from me. Everyone that enrolls will get a 45-minute strategy session with me. You can use it for whatever you want. If you have questions about a specific injury or health concern, I can help you with that. If you have questions about how to implement the resources of the program and get the most out of the experience, I can help you with that. Or we can do a totally personalized, customized practice. You know, rather than talking for the 45 minutes strategizing, it can be an embodied strategy session, and we're moving, breathing, practicing together, specific to what your body awareness is asking for. So for me, that takes the cake. That's like my favorite part of the whole program, is that I actually get to meet you and work with you, and you also get all these other resources. So one more time, bottom of the lead page, enter your email to get the 5-day email support and your full Healthy Body Holiday Guide. Enrollment opens for the online program November 22nd, closes November 30th, and then for the month of December, you have me in your back pocket and lots of resources to help you embody the peace, the joy, the energy of the holiday season. I so look forward to hearing from you. Let me know which tip today is going to make the biggest difference, which one you're going to implement right off the bat, and I will see you soon for our next practice together. Thank you so much. Taking a big breath in, and with your exhale, gentle bow of the head to your heart. Great. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.